Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone and welcome. This is Ashima, and in this video we'll be talking about everyday news events or major news events that have happened in the past day, which are important from examination point of view. And in this video I'll be giving you all the important points which are associated with all these major news events from examination point of view and also for updates purpose. So this video is going to be helpful for every aspirant, whichever exam you're preparing for. This video is going to be helpful. Apart from this, for all those who also want to take questions or quiz, for them we have a live quiz which happens every day on Entri app. All you need to do is download this app from Google Play Store and do initial registration, not monetary registration, just a mobile number registration. After that, everything is going to be free over there. All the free mocks, test series, you can access all of them for a limited time of period. Do check that out. It's going to be very helpful and a rank booster for all of you. Right? So let's begin the discussion now without much delay. The first news event we are going to talk about is network for greening the financial system. Now this network is currently in news because Reserve Bank of India has also joined this network recently. Now, how many central banks are actually a part of it? 83 central banks are currently associated with this network. So, with these 83 banks or central banks which have registered with it, how many are members of this network and how many are just observers? If we have a look at that, there are about 75 central banks which are members of it, whereas the rest 13 are just observer banks in this, right? So 13 observer banks and 75 member banks are there, whose main purpose or objective is to increase and accelerate the green finance. Now, when all of this is associated with the green or global climate risk management, this is the purpose of it. Managing the climate risk management or global risk green management. So, how was it formed basically? Under which agreement was it formed? So there was a One Planet Summit which was started in 2017. This whole summit was started in 2017 after the Paris Agreement in 2016. So to better implement the Paris Agreement, One Planet Summit was started. France was the country which initiated it. United Nations joined in this, right? So the purpose was again better implementation of Paris Agreement. Now, after this One Planet Summit, which was held in Paris, in this whole network of green financial system was started, right? So, who was the leader of this? At that time, there were a total of 8 central banks which were a part of it, and Banque de France was the leader of this 8 banks who had started it. Right? And their main purpose was to design such policies so that climate risk resilience can be seen in financial sector as well. Now, how many areas is it working under currently? So there's a microprudential or supervision which is done by Singapore for this. Microfinancial works are carried out by Bank of England. Scaling up of green finance is done by Deutsche Bank of Germany. Bridging the data gap is by International Monetary Fund, and research is carried out by China. Right? So these are the objectives and the banks which subsequently do this. According to World Economic Forum, approximately 5 trillion US dollars are needed to be invested annually in the green infrastructure if we want to take care of what we are saying we want to take care of. Right? So according to World Economic Forum, at least 5 trillion US dollars is needed. How much are we investing currently? The target is that it should be 5 trillion, but we are only currently investing 100 billion US dollars. Right? Now, next, going ahead, Net Zero Producer Forum. Now, what about this? Saudi Arabia is the country which has recently joined this forum. That is why this forum is in news. Now, This forum currently has Canada, US, Qatar, and Norway as a part of it. And this whole forum has been designed for oil and gas producers so that they can better implementation of Paris Agreement on climate change, and to develop such strategies that net zero emission strategies can be developed and implemented, right? And also methane abatement. So pragmatic net zero emission strategies and methane abatement is the purpose of it, and development and deployment of clean energies there. Now, whenever whichever country joins this forum, they have a certain target. So what target has Saudi Arabia joined it? To reduce carbon emission by generating 50% of energy generation of 50% of energy requirements from renewable sources. So 50% of energy generation using renewable sources, and the target for this they have set is 2030. So by 2030 they want that 50% of the energy is generated using renewable energy. Currently Saudi Arabia is the biggest crude oil exporter of the world, right? If we look at Canada, Canada has also set a certain target. Canada's target is to reduce greenhouse emissions by 30%, and that is to be attained as compared to 2005, right? Then going ahead, supply chain resilience initiative. Now, SCRI was recently launched by 3 countries, being India, Australia, and Japan. What is the purpose of this initiative? That is to increase the foreign direct investment and Indo-Pacific region, turning this region into an economic powerhouse and removing the dominancy of China, which currently is maintained by it. Right. Also, the purpose is to increase foreign direct investment, improve the relations between these 3 countries, and obviously reduce increase trade between the countries and exclude China, reduce the dominancy that China has in Indo-Pacific region, which according to CII or Confederation of Indian Industry, Chinese imports in India are currently 14.5%. Now, Indo-Pacific region is one of the primary concerns of Japan, and that is the reason that Japan is the one which had proposed this SCRI. Next is Immunization Agenda 2030. Now, this agenda was launched by World Health Organization, that is WHO, Gavi Global Alliance for Vaccination and Immunization, and UNICEF. These are the 3 organizations which together have launched this Immunization Agenda 2030, which is titled as a global strategy to leave no one behind. And in this, they have their aim is to halve the number of children which are missing vaccines, and that should be attained by 2030. So their target is that by 2030 more than half the population should be able to receive immunization, right? And therefore reduce the number of deaths which are caused because of this immunization or lack of immunization or vaccination, right? Now, it is going to complete around 500 national introductions of new vaccines like COVID-19 vaccines and papilloma virus vaccine, HPV vaccine, rotavirus vaccine. So, introducing these, because there are various countries which don't even have these vaccines as of now. So, introducing them is the reason why this has been proposed. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. What has this fund done? Recently, it has crossed 8,000 crore mark. And the states which have received the maximum help from this fund are Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Karnataka, and Rajasthan. When was this fund launched? It was in 2020 when it was launched, and between 2020 to 2029, it is to be implemented. Right, and in this fund, which are the major shareholders? Major shareholders are primary agricultural societies, which hold about 58% in it. Second being agri entrepreneurs, 24%. Third being individual farmers, which are currently holding 13% in it. Right. Then a few one-liners. The Central Institute of Brackish Aquaculture, which is based in Chennai, it has developed an indigenous vaccine. This vaccine is for virus nervous necrosis. and this virus is the one which causes 100% mortality of fishes. That is, if a fish is infected with it, 100% is going to die, right? More than 40 species of fishes are infected because of this, but in India only telost fishes are affected by it, because in India, those out of the infected fishes, only telost is found, right? All right. And what is the name of vaccine that has been created? That is Nodavac R. This is the name of vaccine that has been created for these telost fishes. Then Russia has recently expelled diplomats of Latvia, Slovakia, Estonia, Lithuania, Romania, and Czech Republic. Now, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. These three countries are also known as Baltic countries because of their presence near the Baltic Sea. Right? Second of all, what is the dispute of Russia with? What is the dispute of Russia with all of these countries basically? So, if majorly with Czech Republic from 2014, why it goes back to 2014 is that Czech Republic had blamed Russia, that it is accused Russia for the fact that it was the Russian intelligence officers who had were the reason behind 2014 blast, where there were two explosions of in a Czech ammunition depot, right, where all these ammunitions are stored. And Czech Republic is a member of NATO, of European Union, OECD, and therefore relations with Russia are definitely annexed. Then there is Crimea. Now, Crimean issue is with Ukraine, where Crimea is an area which Russia claims as its own, Ukraine claims as its own, just like we have Jammu and Kashmir issue, similar to that. But Russia has taken that Crimea position, so Russia has seized Crimea from Ukraine, and that was again goes back to 2014, right? All right. Then we have Ayushman Bharat Divas, which was recently celebrated on 30th of April, and this is achieved because we have twin missions which we are achieving using this Ayushman Bharat. Right, the two missions are health and wellness of poor and insurance benefits to the poor people. Now, Ayushman Bharat scheme was started in 2018, and its purpose was to provide good coverage of health. So it is the largest scheme covering the maximum possible in the world, with 5 lakh rupees per year per family health insurance, which is largest in the world till date. Also, it has set a target of setting up Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Center. So the target is 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers by the year 2022. Right? Then United Kingdom has become first country in the world to announce regulation for use of self-driving vehicles at low speeds. So UK is the first country which is targeting or trying to achieve that by 2035. By 2035, they are aiming. The United Kingdom has become the first country to announce regulation for use of self-driving vehicles. Now, the target of United Kingdom is to have self-driving capability by 2035. And how much capability do they want to achieve? They want to achieve at least 40% of the capability of self-driving vehicles. And for this, what will they need? They're starting with the first thing, that is automated lane keeping system, or ALKS. Automated lane keeping system. And as the name suggests, the idea is that ALKS is the one of those systems which helps self-driving vehicles remain in their lane. Right, they're working on their highway code for all of this, and the speed limit has also been set, has been decided at 37 miles per hour. Right, then going ahead, Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji inaugurated 3D printed house at IIT Madras recently, and it was created by students of IIT Madras basically. The Niti Aayog has called for electric vehicle purchase subsidy in addition to the FAME 2 subsidy. So FAME 2 is already in picture currently, and the main purpose of FAME was to bring electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles into picture. Right now, since FAME 2 is already there, we already have targets with respect to FAME 2. That is, till 2022, implementation is that 10,000 crore package has been announced for 3 years, 2019 to 2022. So from 2019 to 2022, the allotment is 10,000 crores, and the purpose is to increase the use of electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles in India. Niti Aayog, on the other hand, has also suggested that extra interest subvention should be provided, and extra green zones should be made, green corridors should be made, and infrastructure should be made. Such more infrastructural facilities should be given, and more priorities should be given to electric vehicle, which will eventually lead to increasing electric vehicle purchases. SBI has imposed a penalty of 40 lakh rupees on Himachal Pradesh Cooperative Bank because it did not follow the regulations which were issued by NAM. Government of India announced to keep General Provident Fund and non-government rates, gratuity funds interests all unchanged at 7.1%. General Provident Funds are actually, GPFR only for government officers, right? So that they can make their savings. Now, they have been kept unchanged at 7.1%. Also, small saving schemes, whichever were there for the first quarter, same rates have been kept for them also. No major change has happened in that as well. Then we have Oyo Hospitality Firm, which has launched Oyo Care feature on its mobile app so that people can book quarantine and isolation facilities for COVID-19 patients in Oyo. So for that, Oyo has created a special option in its app. Vaishali Hivase has become the first woman commanding officer at Border Roads Organization, or BRO. FSS, Financial Software and System, has partnered with NPCI International Payments Limited. FSS is the largest payment management software. NPCI is the one which has given birth to UPI or started UPI, Unified Payment Interface. And both of them have come into picture because they want to expand UPI's arena to international market, or use of UPI in international market. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has recently launched its own joint military exercise. The exercise has been started in Albania, and the name is Defender Europe 21. Right now, over here, one more thing, that when were the defense exercises started by NATO? So, first NATO military exercise was held in the year 1952. 1952 first was held, and since then exercises are being held by NATO. Right? Then Japanese government has recently awarded Order of Rising Sun to Bengaluru-based Japanese teacher, that is Shamla Ganesh. International Energy Agency recently released a global electric vehicle outlook. Now, what was in this electric vehicle outlook? It has all the statistics which are associated with them on a global scale. So, according to this, there were about 3 million new electric cars which were registered in 2020, and currently on road there are about 10 million electric vehicles. If we talk about hydrogen car, the maximum number of hydrogen cars are in Korea, right? And next, which we have, is Government of India, which has infused 200 crore funds in Industrial Finance Corporation of India, and after this infusing, an IFCI has share of government in IFCI has been increased to 63.8%. Earlier it was 61.2%. When Government of India in March 2020 had infused 200 crores. Now again the government has infused 200 crores and increased its holdings in IFCI. Then Indian Bank has signed an MOU with BSNL, and the purpose is to grant seamless telecom connectivity to bank at a competitive rate. HDFC Bank is the top arranger of corporate bond deals in financial year 21. Second and third positions are by Axis Bank and ICICI Bank in this. Times magazine has released Time 100 most influential companies, in which there are two companies, Jio and Byju's, from India. Now, Geo is in two categories. One is under innovation category, and second is under leading digital transformation in India. These are the two categories in which Geo is listed, whereas Byju's is listed under disruptors category. Right? TV Somnathan has been appointed as a finance secretary and he has replaced Ajay Bhushan Pandey recently. Amitabh Chaudhary has been appointed as MD and CEO of Axis Bank recently. And ICICI Bank has launched Merchant Stack, which is a digital banking platform started by ICICI for increasing contactless payment. So it's going to be helpful for grocers, small supermarkets, online businesses, everything. And to avail this merchant stack service, users will have to use the app of ICICI. Which app is that? That is by the name InstaBiz. InstaBiz is the name of app. Right now, there are various services also like credit facilities, there current account facilities. There various facilities have also been listed out in the merchant stack service. Operation Twist has recently been announced by RBI, where it is going to sell and purchase about 10,000 crore of market bonds simultaneously under open market operations. Now, open market operations are used by RBI for liquidity adjustment facility or LAF, that is either sucking out the inflation or bringing in the inflation. Right? So, how does OMO help? Open market operation can be carried out in two ways. There is a selling of bonds and there is a purchase of bonds by RBI. Right, by RBI, either selling of bonds or purchase of bonds. If RBI is selling of bonds, at that time liquidity is being absorbed. How? Because when the bonds are being sold, the money of banks is being seized into bonds and the cash moves towards RBI. Right, so here liquidity is sucked out, liquidity is decreased or sucked out from the system. Whereas if there is a purchase of RBI, if RBI is purchasing bonds, in that case, when you purchase something, you give money. So liquidity is increased in the market. So I'll just write it down over here again. So in selling, liquidity is decreased, whereas in purchase, liquidity is increased because cash flows into the market. Right? Now, with this, we'll be winding up the segment. Thank you so much. It has been wonderful interacting with all of you, and I hope this session has been helpful for all of you. We'll see you in the next video with more news events. Until then, goodbye, take care, and have a great day ahead.